Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. Devin Haney is confused. Kambosos doesn't sign a contract. Devin Haney is getting impatient. His negotiations with the absolute lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr. come to an impasse due to the fact that the Australian is in no hurry to sign a contract for the fight. The 23-year-old Haney wants Kambosos to sign the contract as soon as possible in order to start preparing for the fight. Recall that the fight is scheduled for June 4 and should take place in Australia. Since Vasyl Lomachenko is no longer available, George Kambosos has no other options left. Now he only needs to accept the fight with Haney or give up the WBC title. Haney even wrote to George on social media this week, "Are you scared?" Interestingly, Kambosos didn't react to this tweet in any way. It is reported that George and his team are waiting for any news from Lomachenko's team. For the champion, a duel with Haney is the most unattractive option of all possible, both from the financial side and in terms of media. But this particular fight is likely to be organized. Devin is a purely defensive fighter who will deliver single strikes and shift. Although the American's previous fights have shown that his defense is far from alright. Still, it's not the best news for fans that George is boxing with Haney. The Australian would have had more spectacular fights with Ryan Garcia or Vasyl Lomachenko. Realizing this, Kambosos is just stalling for time. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 1000 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. The ordinary WBA lightweight champion Gervonta is the best of the currently active boxers in the world after the retirement of Floyd Mayweather in 2015, at least in the category up to 66.7 or so. Such an unexpected opinion was embraced by Fight Hype. Floyd's former two-time rival Marcos Maidana. Recall that Davis took the featherweight, lightweight and super lightweight belts by the age of 27. When asked who, in his opinion, will dominate in the welterweight division, where Gervonta has not even reached yet, the Argentine veteran replied that, "At this level they are all good, strong fighters. Spence and Crawford are on the same level, but the most, although he is not in this division yet, is Gervonta Davis," Maidana said. Asked why he thinks so, Marcos replied, "Because of his killer instinct and his punch. This is exactly what the sport needs. We need more fighters who fight like that, because many are just engaged in boxing. And this is more business than sport." On May 28, Davis needs to fight with the former owner of the temporary WBA title, Rolando Romero. He believes that he doesn't need a battle plan to knock out the tank. The former owner of the temporary WBA lightweight title, American Rolando Romero, claims that he will go to the title fight with the ordinary champion of the organization, compatriot Gervonta Davis, without any tactical preparations. Romero claims that it will be much more effective this way and explains his opinion. "I will be honest. Everyone says that you need to go into battle with a good plan and all that. I don't have any fucking plan for a fight with Gervonta Davis. Stupidly zero. I don't think that everything should happen naturally. I feel like he's going to dig his own grave. This is a fight. Everything is simple here. He can do some things. I can do some things. Usually, this is what it starts from when they make plans for a fight. But as you know, all these tactics making files out of the hat on after the first missed flop. Yes, that's the reason I don't want any plans for the fight. Why do I need it? I haven't sparred with Davis before. We offered, but he always had some excuse. Well, you know, all these woman things, then menstruation, then a headache. I just advise him then to drink Arcarea more often. They say he helps. In general, either he didn't listen to my advice, or Arcarea didn't help him. But the sparring never took place, Romero says. Talented American lightweight Ryan Garcia was asked to predict the outcome of an entertaining potential confrontation. between collegians in the division compared to Gervonta and Ukrainian Vasyl Lomachenko. Garcia is betting on his own, but he is still not 100% sure. I think Tank Davis can handle this test, or maybe he can specifically fail it like that. I think this is exactly the type of confrontation. Or he will bring his fist to the target, shake Lomachenko and then strangle him. Or he completely declassifies the Tank. How exactly will the fight end? I don't know, in such confrontations you can never be 100% sure. Former interim WBC lightweight champion Ryan Garcia is confident that their fight with George Kambosos will gather a large audience. It is thanks to the fight with him that the Australian can become more popular. Although Kambosos Jr. became already mega popular when he defeated Teofimo Lopez and took away his belts by virtue of WBA Super, WBO, IBF and WBC franchise. It was expected that George could hold the first defense of the title of absolute champion with American Ryan Garcia. However, it turned out to be quite a difficult task to arrange such a fight, and the blame is on both sides, but mostly on Ryan, who still doesn't risk going into the ring with really elite opponents. Therefore, the next opponent of the Unbroken Avenue will be the little-known Guanan Manuel Tagoe. A much more interesting battle awaits the Australian. He is expected to play against Ukrainian Vasyl Lomachenko in Melbourne on June 5. Nevertheless, Garcia's promoter Oscar de la Hoya hinted to the Australian that the best option for him to snatch a good check is to fight against Ryan Garcia. George responded to this statement as follows: "Let Ryan win some significant victories first, and then we will start the ring." A very arrogant statement from Kambosos Jr., who relatively recently became a champion. Garcia believes that Lomachenko can lower the 28-year-old Australian from heaven to earth. In his opinion, he was too proud of himself when he was able to defeat Teofimo Lopez, who was injured and exhausted by a grueling weight race. At the same time, Ryan Garcia doesn't rule out that he may soon rise to the category up to 140 pounds. 23-year-old lightweight Ryan Garcia decided to train in his own gym under the guidance of Juguzan, due to the fact that the Mexican Eddie Reynoso was too busy with other words, and Garcia could not start preparing for the fight scheduled for April 9 against Emmanuel Tagoe. The reason for the challenge of coach was that Eddie didn't have time to train me, and I didn't have training. It's been 2 weeks of training camp and I haven't seen him yet, so I decided I needed to change my coach, Garcia said in an interview. Garcia started training with Reynoso in 2018, and over the past time, Reynoso, in addition to his main star Saul Alvarez and world champion Oscar Vargas, has several more famous words. Now Reynoso is preparing to bring Julio Cesar Martinez into the ring in a fight on March 5. Eddie Reynoso didn't respond to ESPN requests for comment on Garcia's words. American coach Joe Cousin commented on the beginning of his work with promising 23-year-old lightweight Ryan Garcia, who recently announced his departure from Eddie Reynoso and will now train under the guidance of 68-year-old Guzan in his own training room. According to Guzan, Garcia has a great future ahead of him, but it sometimes stressed that it will not be him who will be responsible for the choice of rivals, but the boxers, managers and promoters. On April 9, Garcia will return to the ring after a long break in the fight against Emmanuel Tagoe. I think his next fight will say a lot. I believe that, at the moment, he can beat many top boxers, Guzan said about Garcia in an interview. This is usually the task of his management and promoter, and I will leave these questions out to them. If they say a name, I will say okay. If this is the one you have chosen and Ryan agrees, then we will do the strategy and tactics for this particular fight, Guzan said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.